I was in my yearly with my doctor for my pap smear, and she says, you know, I told her, I said, oh, I got my genetic testing back and I'm negative for BRCA. That's exciting. Mm-hmm. And she said, well, let me just do this lifetime risk assessment test for you. It's called the Tyrer-Cuzick test. And my risk assessment score came back as 37.3% of having a chance of having breast cancer. So she said, okay, I want you to go get an MRI because anything over 20% is high risk. So I was like very high risk.
Okay.
So I went to get the MRI and they called me an hour later and they said, we found something. And so you need to go get an ultrasound. So I go get the ultrasound and the technician's taking a while as she's looking through my breast. And I said, you know, like, what's going on? Is everything okay? She said, well, I have to get the doctor. Whenever they say that, that's never.
Oh, yeah. Man.
So then the doctor comes in and she's looking and she just says, okay, I see the one from the MRI, which is like right next to my lymph nodes, which is very scary. But she said, but now I'm finding 2 more.
Oh my God, and you've just climbed out of like...
I just climbed a mountain and swam through an ocean of anxiety from postpartum, and then there's this information. So I get the biopsy the next day and find out 3 days later that it is cancer, and it's an aggressive cancer called luminal B, and so it's fast-moving and aggressive. And my doctor brought me into her office, and she walks in. I said, you know, is it cancer? She said, yes, and I wanted you to come in and see me in the office because I wanted to look you in the eye and tell you that you're too young to have this much cancer in your breast, and you have a baby at home, and I need you to be aggressive because one is right by your lymph nodes, and we need to move fast. So she told me that I think you should get a double mastectomy. Yeah. Yeah, it was big, and I was like, just taking it all in, and she said, because I guarantee that if you have this much all over your breast, that you have it in the left side too. So she sends me off with this list of doctors, surgeons, to oncologists to kind of form my team. And once I get my team together, my surgical oncologist at Cedars said, it is unusual for you to have so much breast cancer in one breast in different areas. I want to go back to your original MRI and have our top radiologist here check that out as well, just to look at everything. Mm-hmm. And they went back and they said, we think we found something on your left breast as well. They take the biopsy and then they call me like a week or so later and they're like, that's also cancer. So at that point, it was, you know, you have to do a double mastectomy, because if I do just a lumpectomy, which a lot of women do, and it's a personal choice, but my lifetime risk of breast cancer would stay at 37.3% because I still have breast tissue. And if it's popping up this much, there's a good chance it's going to pop up somewhere else. And I didn't want to have to keep looking over my shoulder for the rest of my life.
I know another woman who did exactly this.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so I was super aggressive. I mean, I have breast issues taken up, you know, all the way up to my collarbone and everywhere. And I'm so thankful I did the double mastectomy, because after the surgery, they do this thing called margins. They check for margins. Margins, like when you have cancer, they keep checking to see how far out it went, so they give you a good amount of margins of like clear tissue, right? Mm-hmm. So then the doctors go, okay, we got it. And as they were checking for margins, they kept going, and they found like a tangerine-sized section of more cancer. It was like an early stage of cancer, but that was going, because it was the same type, it was going to spread and become invasive like the other ones. So if I didn't do the double mastectomy, I would have...
She literally saved your life.
She literally saved my life. She was my guardian angel.